Good day to you wherever you might be watching. This is Real Gist on iClass TV. We get to discuss a lot of interesting stuff right here, and I'm not alone tonight. I have my beautiful co-host. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Bambi, and you're welcome to the show.
And today's show promises to be interesting and exciting. To help us with all that, we have an amazing guest. He's one of our regulars here on Real Gist. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, my name is Ehis Johnson.
Tonight we'll be talking about paternity fraud and DNA test. And when we get back, we'll get straight into the topic and really talk about it adeptly. So we'll be right back.
Welcome back. Now we're here, and on today's topic, we're talking about paternity fraud and DNA test. And like we said before the break, for better understanding, we have a special guest in the house, Mr.
He's Johnson.
All right, so we're just going to dive into the topic. First off, what are the importance? First of all, what are the importance of paternity tests, regardless of whether you have doubt or not? How important is paternity test in a family?
Okay, the importance is simple and straight. It is when you're not sure of your kids. You're not sure of the offspring around you.
Okay.
Or there is one or two arguments in the air. Maybe your wife has a child out of wedlock, you're not aware of something, and there's some itch somewhere, and it's bringing trouble to your home. That's why I think it is important to do that test. So you can be very sure that this is my blood.
Okay.
Yeah.
So fairly, you think on a regular basis, if like a family that they're just having kids, you think there is no need for any of the partners to go for paternity test, except you have doubt.
I think there's no need, and when the doubt is distrust.
Okay.
When you, as a husband, you don't trust your wife. And as a wife, you don't trust your husband either. There is this distrust in a relationship.
Okay.
That is when I think it's important and expedient to do tests. Because first of all, the test is not cheap. So that by wasting that kind of money, if there is trust in the home.
Okay.
You understand? If there's trust in the home, there's no excess, there's no need. When there's no trust from both parties, whether it's from the man or from the wife, they can go for the test.
Okay, Mr. Hayes Johnson, what are some of the signs you might that might raise as red flags to prompt one to go for said test?
Okay. First of all, the facial looks of your kids.
Just call the parents.
And it's different from the parents. Maybe the man is not seeing himself in the kids. Or the wife is not seeing herself in the kids. Or you're seeing strange character totally from the kids. From both, you know your wife to an extent, and the husband, this is not my wife's character, this is not me, I'm saying. And whenever they're doing stuff, I cannot draw the line. And also take notes, this DNA tests is not just the facial, it also draws from the background of families. So it's not just only the facial you're looking for. As I said, when you see the characters are not matching, you can go for that test. That's one of the red flags. Then two, you also notice your wife is always, for example, for the man now, you notice your wife is always not around. She's always dashing out. And there's this fear. When she was pregnant, you were not sure if you were responsible. Okay. Like some homes now, because there was a delay in pregnancy, and all of a sudden you were not even expecting, you were not thinking about it, and your wife happened to you, I am pregnant. Mm-hmm. That causes for a fear for the man. If the man is not expecting or thinks he's not ready now, and after a year or two, the child is not looking as he was expecting. No, this is not. You understand? You can go for a test. Okay. Some of the flags.
statistics show that in Nigeria, paternity fraud is very high. Nigeria is ranked second highest, and some statistics also show that 3 out of 10 Nigerian men are not fathers to their biological. Why is it so rampant in Nigeria?
And why is it that all of a sudden this trend is coming up more than before? It's now serious than it's ever been.
Like I've always said, jokingly and sometimes serious. Sorry, permit me to say that Nigeria is a polygamous country. So and Nigeria is a country that is growing very fast, trying to learn things from the other countries of the world. I say our civilization is very, very fast, faster than we're even calculating. Now, because of civilization, men tend to go out, hanging out and doing stuff. So they are just on adventure, and on adventure they are producing kids that are not from the marriage. Some are planned, some are unplanned, some are just one night stand and flings and all that. So it produces that. So my fear is this: if you say we're going to be, if I say we're going to be the next 5 years, we're going to be number one. I think it's okay, but I think we're going to be number one. I will explain what I mean. Number one. The rate at which we're going to distance from the second will be very high.
Wow.
Because we're doing this thing on a regular basis, like the speed of light. That's my fear.
Oh, that's pretty scary, if you do ask me. But paternity fraud is very unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I have to ask, what is the right reaction towards paternity fraud when you eventually find out that this child is not mine? What's the right reaction? Because we've heard a lot of crazy stories, like that of Nedu, who found out that the child he's been raising is not even his, and the woman came out to say, "I never said that the child was yours." And there was the story of an architect who found out that his deceased wife, the 3 children that she had for him, none were his. A stranger came and he did the test eventually, and he was heartbroken. Now, what's the right reaction? A lot of people have killed themselves. A lot of people have killed their spouse. A lot of people
broken
have
marriages.
broken
And all
marriages.
of that.
The right reaction is to control yourself.
How is that possible?
That's a bit difficult.
As I said, that's the right reaction, because if you actually want to react to that, those taking their lives, killing people, is not even enough for the reaction, because it's a whole lot of pain. Just imagine a father or a man who has fathered a child for 15 years, 18 years, or the child is now a full graduate working already. And from the blues, a man just walking to the scene and say, "This boy or this girl," for example, "this boy is my son." And the son you have trained to the fullest capacity you want your child to be. And you have invested every good thing into that child. And the child is somebody you can go to sleep for 1 whole year and the child is well, is good, doing things, maybe running your establishment for
The
you.
child that you pleased in.
Yes, you are so well pleased of the child. And somebody just came from the blues and said, or maybe after like 5 years of waiting in marriage, you have a child. You think you have a child. The way I brought in the child for you. I know my child and all that. And after, on that 5 years, somebody comes in and says that child is not, that means you have wasted 10 years. When you're supposed to be working for that 5 years to get a child, but looks all wasted. So the truth is the pain is undescribable. But what I think we should do is, like I said, control yourself. Now, in controlling yourself, you have to also think that maybe God just wants you to help somebody.
That's a different
Easier
angle.
said.
Maybe God just wants you to help somebody. Now, take note. I've seen a story where the man fathered a child for about 10 years, and somebody came in after many court case. The other father took the biological father now took the child. But trust me, every day of his life, that child was giving him headache. After 4 years again, the man had to bring back the child to the other man who was fathering the child for the past 10 years. and say, please, he's my child, but take him. I cannot. I don't know how you handle him. I cannot. They went back. He went back to court to write that child now belongs to the other man that was fathering the child for 10 years. Because the way the man brought him up was different from his own character. He's more like a wayward father, and this child was a decent child. So every time he's doing his thing, this child is reacting negative to his reactions. Was a serious chemical reaction in the house. So they could not stay. I had to return. What I'm saying is this. Just try, if it has come to that point, that the child is no longer yours, try all you can to bear it. It is painful. Taking a life, God will judge you.
True.
Killing yourself, God will judge you. So just try, control your temper. Control. That's the best thing. You have to control. It's not easy, it's not funny, it's not sweet. I must say, it's not easy. It's not funny. It's not sweet. It's not what we can just explain. But you have to control. So you will not put yourself into trouble, because the law will not say, yes,
He was provoked.
He
had reason.
He has reason. If you take a life, the law can take yours all, keep you behind bars for the rest of your life. So why don't you control yourself and see how you can go and adopt after many years, if possible. Go and adopt. If your wife cannot produce, go and adopt a child and grow a child.
Do you want that light? Okay, so my question is, in most Nigerian homes, we find that it's very easy to tell the woman to accept children from outside the marriage, to accept the man's children from outside wedlock and all.
Okay.
But it's not easy for men. It's very men decide they can break up and end the marriage rather than accepting the children from the woman from outside the marriage.
Yeah.
So why is that a thing? Like very common, first of all.
Okay, I'll start by saying, women are very, on a larger scale, not 100%, but on a very large scale, women are they're very homely, they're very loving. So because it's kids, because it's children, they want to. Not just because they are somebody else's children, but because they are children. But some will want to accept because they are already in marriage and maybe they have 1 or 2 kids in the marriage. And they also know that this man that is bringing these kids in is influential or is wealthy. So they want to do it for benefit. Okay, bring other kids in, no problem. While I'm taking care of them, I'm making sure my own kids have a bright future financially or whatever wise I can do for my kids. They're personal. And while they haven't grown up with their kids, they can be very hostile to them. They can be very mean to them because they had their plan is not to love the kids, but to just add them to the ones in the house to make their own children the star. Meanwhile, some others will accept them wholeheartedly and just do as a good mother would do, irrespective of gender, irrespective of whether the kids from house they are the senior or the younger. They just want to accept them. Now, the reason why it seems like I said, their mothers are loving. They are loving, and because of our African nature, that we have conditioned women to become like I don't use the word like a slave, but like you should accept. You should just.
You have no choice.
Yes, you have no choice.
say.
Yes, it's the man that is bringing the finance. It's the man that is. It's the man that is. You understand? Our belief system and the African culture has conditioned the women to be that way. Why the man in this context now will say, "How can I father somebody's children?" Most especially when they were not told before getting married. Even when they are told, like, I have 2 kids or I have a child out of wedlock, would you accept me as a wife?
They would not.
Some will say, I will accept you, but this child, I don't want to take responsibility of the child. Maybe you can send the child to your mom or to your parents. We'll be sending money time to time. Not being under my roof, I would not want to. One. Two, someone to marry you and your father, your children as well. But when they start giving birth to theirs, you now see the separation of this is not my biological children, they are yours. So I don't want to invest everything into them, I want to do more for my kids. But on a very large scale, which I want to say, in Africa, our men are very, very proud. Unconsciously conscious, we are very proud. Unconsciously conscious, we're very proud. So it makes our African men don't want to father those kids and say, no, they better break up their marriage or break up their relationship or ask the woman out because of just that singular act. So the men, I think I need to tell the men, men, we need to readjust our pride for love.
Yes.
We need to readjust our pride for love.
Pride is the devil, and pride does go before a fall. But my next question, Mr. H. Johnson, we know that most times there's a lot of pressure on the females or the wives to have a child, and until recently, it's always the woman's fault when she's not giving birth. She's not fertile enough. She's not this enough, and we've seen that as a cause why some women go out there and try to get a child by any means just to save their man.
Is that enough?
Very desperate. It's sometimes it comes from a place of love. I want my husband to love me. I want my husband to see me as his wife. I can give him children. When in reality, she going out and being able to bring a child goes to the point that maybe the problem might be from the man. But all this is washed aside when it comes to like that. This child is not his. So would you say that really justifies fathering a child, or rather having a child outside wedlock?
Psychologically or biologically, we've found out that sometimes it's not like the man is having low sperm count or the woman is having some hormonal imbalance, but sometimes it's because of both system. Maybe when the woman is ready to have, to take in and keep the egg, the man is not ready in the system. I can't remember the words the doctors, they call it, scientists, there's a word they actually use for that. So sometimes you need to go for checkup, counseling to know, okay, at this time, the women they are ready. You can also go online and check that if as a man or as a husband and wife, you want to have a boy child, there's a time to meet. If you want to have a girl child, there's a time to meet. That is when you want to calculate it, a deliberate attempt. But sometimes it's just God just give you at will. So the wife going out, like you said, it's I personally think it's a problem of the man going out, for the wife to go out. Those for the wife to say, I love my husband, I want to. Now, if the man is not pressurizing you, you shouldn't go out. And even if the man is pressurizing you, the man should not pressurize, because it is not a do or die affair that the child must come from your loins. It's not a battle. You can go and adopt a child.
But I must say, the pride of African men, they don't see it fit for them to go out, because at the end of the day, they'll still be like, that is not my biological child. So because of pride, you can admit that most African men will not entertain that idea.
But I feel most African men these days are getting to a certain level of education where I think the pride should be a thing of the past. The fact that you have a child.
I feel like you want to believe that they believe so, when you know in truth that this culture and our society has embedded that pride in them, that they feel like if it doesn't come from them biologically, it is still not theirs, whatever you have to say. I
agree with you to some point. First things first, an African man has every right to be proud. He's black and he's amazing. But about the fathering of a child, I think it's down to personal beliefs, because we know that most times we young people, we just try to catch up with, or rather try to imbibe the past, what our ancestors have said, what our parents are saying. We try to imbibe it into our life when in actuality that's not what we want. We just want, okay, this is how it's done. So I think the thing of pride, I think it's no longer really a thing. A lot of people now, they just want to be happy and live a happy life.
Okay, I think the challenge is this. When you say the African pride and you're trying to say the African, I think the problem is African man most African men don't have their say. They want to have the family say.
Exactly.
How would the family feel? How would the society feel? What would they say?
Care more about the opinion of the society.
See, let me advise. This is from my end. I'm not instilling my thoughts to you. What I think you should do is this. If you have a child from your loins, if you don't have a child from your loins, they will talk. So why don't you give your wife peace by going to adopt a child and you guys grow the child. See, don't just go as a man. Go as husband and wife.
Okay.
Discuss and go and adopt a child. And get the child into your house and accept the child. Breed the child very well as yours. Okay? Now, when somebody is saying it's not their child, it's their child, does it changes? If it's my child, is it going to have two heads?
No.
It's going to have one head if it's not mine. Just whether it's yours or not, it have one head, two legs, two hands, two eyes, right? Same physique, same everything. So instead of you putting your wife or putting your marriage under pressure, putting your home under heat, get it. Instead of going to marry a second wife to have a child, trust me, every time there's a two wife in the house, there's two problems in the house. So you make it three, the problem is increasing. So just get your one beautiful wife and yourself and discuss. Is a child right or what does the child? Why we're expecting our child to come from our loins, biologically we haven't expected our child. Let's go and adopt the child. Time is of the essence. Instead of wasting time waiting. I can count hundreds of people I know, I have heard, I have read about that has adopted children, adding with their own children. So there's no crime. If your plan initially was, sweetheart, we'll just have 2 kids for married and all that, fine. Get one first. Why expect, down the line in 4, 5 years, nothing is coming in, adopt the second one. But trust me, when you do that first one, there's every possibility on 80% that you have your child into your house, biologically speaking, you have a child. So I think you as a wife trying to impress your husband, going out to do the unexpected, yes, to want to bring joy. Take note, once people get to know you are now the bad head in the family. Your plan was to make your husband happy, but at the end of the day, that's that thought that becomes an evil thought, an evil doing, and you now be saying it's devil.
Yeah.
So the
ends trying to justify the means.
Leave Satan out of this. Yeah, leave Satan out of this.
You went with your full chest.
You went with pride and you enjoyed yourself.
Had fun.
So don't bring in Satan into it. Just accept you have made a silly mistake.
Okay.
Husband, discuss with your wife. Wife, discuss with your husband.
Yeah, that comes back to communication. When there is no proper communication, that's when things like this happen.
I often say, personally, no matter how when I go to work, when I go out, the pressure is natural, is a must. But when you come home, you should come home into peace. Not just peace, I want to use the right word that is in my head. You come home into an ice home where it's cool. You understand? So how can you achieve that is getting your wife to understand, let's not kill ourselves about children. Yeah, it's going to adopt. I think the men should put in that effort. If the man does that, trust me, the men, they're the one driving that course. The way we accept it, I will have a better society living. When the in-laws or your parents come now, why are you? This is what I want. This is my family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every man, every woman should know this is my family. You will choose not to have a child. It's nobody's business. It's nobody's. God said we should multiply. He did not say
Enough people
he
are
did not say
multiplying.
multiply it in that, in this or that. Choose the best way to multiply positively. There are kids in orphanage that don't have parents are looking for. Go and get one. We are multiplying. We are multiplying. Don't make marriage a living hell. Marriage to be enjoyed, not to be endured.
You've heard it from Mr. Ahis Johnson. Marriage is to be enjoyed and not endured. Well, it's been amazing, Bambi. Don't you think so?
We have had a wonderful time here learning so much about paternity fraud and DNA tests. I have learned a lot personally. Now I know that, okay, communication is one way to resolving the issue of paternity fraud at the end of the day. We should be open to communication, like he said.
Yeah.
Husband, communicate to your wife. You necessarily don't have to have kids from your own loins if it's impossible originally. You can go out, you can adopt children, beautiful children out there. And so there are other ways to resolve the chaos at the end of the day. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Ellis, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you, it's my
very
pleasure.
Splendid time. Thank you so much. And guys, like always, you can follow us on all our social media platforms. You can watch our episode on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and on Facebook as iClass TV. I remain your host, Bumi Olorotoba Bambi, and
Become the headmaster. And I would also like to remind you all that Mr. Ahis Johnson is a relationship counselor and he's an excellent one. You can always try to reach out to him if you have any problems whatsoever, and he will be willing to help.
yeah.
It's been splendid doing this show with Bambi and my amazing guest. Till we meet again,
Thank
sayonara.
you. Bye.